Hi everyone, my name is Kim and I started this channel so that I can document my process of building generational wealth. So I currently earn 100K and I am living in New York City. A few things about me is that I work in education. So I don't earn, even though it seems like 100K is a lot, I don't earn that much. So I want to show you all the breakdown of how I spend my money so that you see kind of, what's going on and how I budget 100K, prioritizing things that are really important to me, such as fitness and food. All right, so starting off, I'm also going to include screenshots over here and over here, so that you're able to see kind of what it is that I, just able to see the numbers, right? So first and foremost, I actually do get paid every 2 weeks. I actually get paid every 15th and the 30th. More than likely, it comes in like a couple of days before. So every single paycheck that I get, starting this year, I am earning $2,754.65. That is after taxes. So starting off with my taxes, so my gross pay is actually $4,166.67. I wish I was earning all of that. That would be fantastic. But alas, here we are. We have to pay Uncle Sam. And, New York City gets their cut too. But so I have my federal income tax for $508.15. That's a lot. Then I have my Social Security tax, my Medicare tax, my New York State income tax. So then I have my New York City income tax. And then I have something called the SDI tax for New York and the New York Paid Family Leave Insurance. So after that, so the government, takes their cut. And then I actually have a few things that I pay for from my employer. So because of my employer, I am able to contribute to things like a retirement account. I pay for my insurance through them. So I actually pay for accident insurance. I pay for dental insurance and hospital insurance, so you'll see that there. And I actually contribute to a 403b. So a 403b, for those of you that don't know, is, to my knowledge, it's just a retirement account that is basically the same as a 401k, but it's typically for those in like public facing roles or organizations. So you could work at a hospital and get and participate in a 403b. You can work at schools. You can work in different sectors as long as I think it's for, the working for the public is my understanding. But if anyone has any other understanding, please let me know. I've only ever been able to contribute to a 403b just because I've always worked in education. And so in education, it's always been a 403b, at least at the places that I've worked in. So I actually pay $125 toward that. My employer does do a match, so I pay $125. They also pay $125. And I haven't been with them for that long, so I haven't accrued that much, but I do have 2 other 403b accounts, which I should probably roll over. But that's a side note. So I do have that, and I contribute to that. I also pay $60 every check for my public transportation, and so that ends up being $120 a month. And what this does, to take it out pre-tax, what it does is it lowers the money that I actually earn. And so that's why I decided to do it pre-tax as opposed to post-tax. So then I pay for vision, which is $1. And then I have my insurance plan, which is the $78.70. One nice thing about my job is that they actually give me a stipend for my cell phone bill. So I do get a stipend of $25, so $50 every month. So that actually pays for half of my phone bill. I mean, I guess technically I end up using it anyway, right? Because I pay for my phone bill through my money that I get. So After all of that beautiful money taken out of my account, I'm left with $2,754.65. So now we can get into the nitty-gritty of how I spend my money. So we have $2,754.65 to spend. So from there, once that gets deposited into my account, I always like to set aside about 150, anywhere from 100 to 150, depending on how much I'm prioritizing my debt during that time. So this check, I gave myself $150, just to make sure that if I do want to buy something for myself, any food, or just anything that I forget. I typically buy gum for work, things like that that come up. I usually like to account for that. I have some sort of money always rolling over into my check, even if it's just $20, but I want to make sure that I'm not spending on my credit cards. So I always give myself at least $100, anywhere from 100 to 150 for my budget. So that's the first thing I did. This paycheck, I had my iCloud payment that came in. So because I'm trying to pay down my credit card debt, I wanted to make sure that any other credit card debt that I had aside from the card that I'm prioritizing is paid down. So I was charged $1 for my Citi card. So I paid that off immediately, just so that I don't have anything on there. This paycheck, it's the last paycheck. This was the last paycheck of the month of January, which means that I had my phone bill due the beginning of February, so I had to save money or set money aside for that. So I left that in there. I spend $104.52 on my phone bill. It's a little higher now because I am paying it off. I got my phone, I want to say something like 2 years ago already. So I'm almost done. I think I have like maybe 2 months left. And then it should go down to about 80 or 90 bucks. This is also the check that I have to budget, for rent. So I currently live with my mom, in her apartment. And so rent is actually fairly cheap. It's a rent stabilized apartment in New York. So I'm very, very grateful that my mom has been able to have that. She, has been living here for many, many, many years. And so we've been able to keep it pretty low. It is increasing. So right now I paid $450 this check. But for the next check, I would have to pay upwards of $500. This check, this is a pretty short check. And the reason why is because instead of paying off my Discover card, which is my priority for the next few months, I actually have decided that I was going to dedicate the rest of my money to my savings, to my emergency fund. And so I'll explain myself. So a few weeks ago, I went to work, and I found out that 2 people that I work with in the same position that I'm in, that same morning, were laid off. And not necessarily laid off as much as the position entirely was eliminated because the company has decided to restructure. I typically get a lot of anxiety around money and specifically about having money available for things, right? I grew up very low income, so for me, not having a security blanket at all makes me feel very, very uncomfortable. Which, could have led to me potentially, having a lot of savings, but that was not the case. I was one of those that I overspent because I thought credit cards were my safety net, and I quickly learned that that was not the case. So ever since then, I decided that instead of just having $1,000 in my savings account or in my emergency fund, I actually am going to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses in there. Not only that, but I actually am thinking that I want to save $10,000 and keep it in there just because you never know what happens. And I think that even 3 to 6 months is not enough. I was laid off a few years ago and I was looking for a job for 5 months, right? So it could be 5 months, it could be 1 month. I just want to make sure that I am very much set and I am not dipping back into my credit cards in case that does happen, given that right now I just don't know what's happening with my job. So I actually saved from this paycheck $1,600, and I sent it straight to my emergency savings fund. And that's just so that, I feel a little bit more secure. So that left me with $170 in my account. And so what I'm planning to do with that is, like I said, I gave myself 150, anywhere from 100 to 150. I've already spent down a lot of that money, and I get paid in a few days, like next week, but less than 7 days, I would say. So I am waiting for the next paycheck. But from there, I have that amount saved in there so that just in case I want to spend something, but I probably won't spend much. I don't want to contribute right now to anything else aside from my credit cards and my emergency savings fund, like I said, because of the situation at work. But I do want to eventually start going into saving for my Roth IRA. That is not going to happen until probably next year at this point. I don't see myself being able to do that, given that I do have a lot of credit card debt still. Right now, I only have 2 left. Well, actually, I spent on DaVinci Resolve, and so that is coming out of the next paycheck most likely, if not the following. So I should have 3 credit cards to pay, but that's the only thing I have on that credit card. Budget my paycheck. Thank you so much for sticking with me and watching to the end of this video. And I want to do this new thing where I want to include like something cute and empowering at the end of my videos. So I just want to tell you that I know, situations are hard and it can be fairly difficult to save up a lot of money, especially if you don't have ideal circumstances. But just try your best to have the best circumstances possible, and or to see the positive side of the circumstances that you're in. Right now I'm living with my mom and it is not easy, but I guarantee you that if you stick the course and you keep fighting toward your financial goals, you will actually get there one day at a time. All you need to do is commit yourself to the day that's right ahead of you. Don't think about the rest. Every single day, just recommit and, do the steps and follow the systems that you've set up for yourself to be financially successful, and we will get there. So if you got to the end of this video and you are able to, relate or have some comments or have some questions, drop a flower emoji at the bottom in the comments, and I will know that you have been able to actually watch the entire video. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.